Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, today we're going to be talking about energy refill farming in 5.3.6 and the fact that Kabam has secretly tweeted. At this point, I am convinced that it is indeed a fact because I actually tested it myself. I ran through it, I think, approximately 4 or 5 times. So this first and only energy refill that actually spawned for me was there because I already knew that it's there. I had checked it, it was there, but as soon as I finished the map and I checked it all out, the places where we had both of these small energy refills on the top 2 paths, which is where the energy refills always used to form, that's where energy refills used to appear like all the time. It was one of the top 2 paths had energy refill. These side paths typically had small energy refills, and the bottom path may or may not have a revive on it sometimes too. And as we can see, then side paths still have the small energy refills, bottom paths still have the revives, but this time around the top paths only have small energy refills. And I did that again and again and again. I actually, I think used about 4 energy refills, just trying to reset the map and checking results. And virtually not a single time I have seen another actual large energy refill form in there. Now we're going to jump in there again. I have no clue whether there is an energy refill or not. I might be proven wrong in the middle of this video, but let's check it out. So we have, once again, small energy refill on a side. That's where you used to have large energy refills. Absolutely nothing on the top left path, which sometimes happens. And then we still have the small energy refills on one side and small energy refills on the other side and the revive. So in my personal testing, obviously it also does appear that Kabam has cheekily just cut off energy refill farming in 5.3.6. And I'm not the only one who thinks so. I have heard comments from dozens of people on my live streams. And, most importantly, there have been several threads open on Kabam forum as well. I do believe several of those threads are already missing, but there seems to be this one that's still up. And obviously, we do have elevated stupidity still in the chat, saying it's RNG, generated by RNG, and all that other stuff. But in, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years since I personally have been farming energy refills, I have never done more than 2 refreshes, as in clearing the map 2 times, without there being a large energy refill in it. So, there are the Kabam shills like Elevated Stupidity and whoever else not around there, obviously, as always, just being contrarian. Whenever somebody mentions something, they just need to insert themselves in an argument to defend Kabam without any knowledge on the subject. And unfortunately, it's just yet again one of those cases. Now, unfortunately, what makes it sting a little bit more this time around is the fact that we clearly see why Kabam would adjust the energy refill drops in that map. And had they altered it at any other time up until now, one would argue that, perhaps it was not intended. If they had been upfront about it, then we realized that it's not meant to be spawning as often there and stuff like that. And that'd be fine. People would just seek for different maps, different spots where they can, semi-regularly get those revives and or refills. However, well, number one thing is obviously it's made ever so more insulting because it's done on the down low. It just happens, and if we catch it, we catch it. If we don't notice the change, or for instance, if they had made this change a little bit more subtle, we would have never known. So thank God, Kabam is not clever enough, or seemingly is not clever enough to do it in a more subtle way. Because they went all in. If they had just reduced that energy refill drop rate by, 30%, 40%, it would still work as plenty of benefit for them. Many would argue that perhaps it wouldn't be worth more doing in 5.3.6 to begin with, and they would achieve very, very similar result. But since they're incapable of subtlety, nuance, and details, they just pretty much completely have cut it off, or almost completely. Because I have heard somebody say that they did have a refill spawn. So it's probably technically still possible, just way smaller chance for it to happen. So back to the point. Had they come upfront about it, we have noticed that large portion of community uses this map to convert, temporary energy into permanent energy by farming energy refills. We have been long aware of it. It was not intended. We let it go on for this long, but, we don't think it's fair or whatever. Obviously, we'd still disagree with it, but at least it would be some sort of backbone position where they are coming out in an open, and, there would be at least tiny bit of respect for that they are capable of kind of manning up and saying what they are changing and owning their decision and owning the backlash. The fact that it is just, on the down low, shadowy, weaselly, slimy thing to do, whether we notice, whether we not, just clearly shows that as a company, such things are irrelevant there. The second thing that is more annoying is obviously the timing. The timing here is the important thing. The timing is the reason why things like this happen. And the timing here just coincides with Battlegrounds coming to the game. Right now we are in beta, yes, but they are scheduled to come back for an entire month of May, and the entire game mode is going to be released very soon and shortly. And obviously, despite community's disappointment and very loudly voiced objections, there is a fairly hefty energy cost associated with Battlegrounds, which I disagree to begin with. But as typical with Kabam from the previous example, it's not that Kabam likes to, stab us in the back. They also like to twist that knife. So not only it looks like they will not be removing the energy cost or giving us specific Battlegrounds energy or doing something around it. So instead of, going with some system that would actually make players more happy, they are doubling down on the idea that they are going to be charging us energies for Battlegrounds. And now they are limiting the ways and cutting off the ways how we can obtain that energy without spending units on it. So it is, again, a very, very bad look. Now, obviously, what I have said right now is not a fact. It's speculation, suspicion, logical deduction. It is not a fact. We do not know for a fact the reasoning behind this change. We can surely claim that the change has happened. That is a fact. And we can only speculate what prompted this change. And there can be several motivating factors, obviously. I just explained my theory, my thought process. Because it's Battlegrounds, because Battlegrounds cost energy, because they will not change that, despite how many of us hate the fact that Battlegrounds cost as much energy. And they don't want us to get those energy refills that we can use in Battlegrounds without spending units. So, and kind of additional substantial evidence here would be the exact timing of this change, because these energy refills obviously have been working one way for many years in the game now, but then all of a sudden they get changed without any announcement, without any notice, and the only significant kind of change in the game is the Battlegrounds. So I do believe personally that it is due to the Battlegrounds, that they are limiting our chances to farm energy refills. And it's going to suck. It's going to suck for a lot of players. What's most painful about it is that it sucks for the more dedicated and clever players, the more resourceful players. Because obviously, if you can spend plenty of the game, sure enough, it's not going to affect you. Or if you're, not particularly, invested in time, interested in investing your time in farming energy refills or whatever, that's not going to affect you. But for quite long, for instance, majority of CCP members have been farming those energy refills, and majority of free-to-play or low-to-spend players have been farming those energy refills. On me personally, I have started doing it over the last 3-4 months as well myself. Towards the end of the month, I typically spent about last 5 days of the month to farm a bunch of energy refills, so I never have to spend units when I do my Cav EQ exploration stream, so I would have some energy refills handy and ready to go. So, that was kind of my monthly routine. Towards end of the month, I start farming refills for the next month. But, seemingly that goes to an end. At the end of the day, it really, really does look underhanded, slimy, shady, ballless. Company that has no morals or backbone is how it looks like. In between this change and their inability to deal with the modders in Battlegrounds or fix their own leaderboard even, at the moment, I'm kind of embarrassed by the fact that this is the game that I play and make videos about. Or more specifically, kind of embarrassed that Kabam is the company that takes after the games that I play and maintains it and manages it. And I mean it. And, it's not meant to be some inflammatory, angry statement. It's just embarrassing. Things that they're trying to do and things that they are trying to do and things that they are just not doing in terms of dealing with the modern situation and everything else. And then obviously Alliance War Potion situation, Paragon situation. It's shameful and embarrassing. It's like moments like this, I would not feel proud working for that company. I really wouldn't. So yeah. Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about